Good morning, Bucknutters. It is Thursday, August 29th, 2024. We are almost there, people. In 2 days, Akron will come to the shoe, and I cannot wait. And I cannot wait to do the rest of today's show. Power-packed. The great Cardale Jones will join us to start. He's going to let you know about the foundation, all the great efforts they have done, take a look at the season. He's also got a new gig with CBS HQ. So we are all about Cardale Jones and our partnerships across the board there. And then, of course, if it's Thursday, the Dean, Bill Kurelic, and the Grand Poobah, Mark Porter, will join us. But first, gentlemen, do you want your grooming routine to be a one-and-done deal? I think you do this year. The days of using the same trimmer for your face and other parts are over, thanks to our friends at Manscaped. They've come up with the ultimate package to keep you trimmed 12 to 6. Introducing the Beard and Balls Bundle featuring the Lawnmower 5 and the Beard Hedger, a trimmer for the Moneymaker, and another for the boys downstairs. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code Bucknuts at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code Bucknuts at manscaped.com for the premium grooming experience. Trust Manscaped. All righty. Now entering the studio, national champion quarterback, media sensation, foundation key, Cardale Jones. Cardale, thanks for getting up early with us on a Thursday.
I appreciate it, Dan. Thanks for having me.
Been a big week. We got a huge week coming up here. We're chatting with Cardale before the show, and he's been quoted before. I think we all know that. Although this week, ESPN's article had a quote in there that was maybe a tad askew and caused a little bit of a hubbub for you, Cardale. You want to walk us through that and talk about damage control, as it were?
Yeah, I mean, it happens all the time when you talk about national articles. And there's no knock on the writer, there's no knock on ESPN, but sometimes people can take, what you say and not understand it fully. I think my comments where I will argue that it's not national championship or bust, which means that for the masses of people who think, and clearly, first and foremost, Buckeye Nation always have a high standard for the Buckeyes, no matter what year it is. To them, you have to beat the team up north and win a national title, or the season isn't as successful in their eyes to many.
Sure.
But my argument to that is that we can't discredit what Ryan and that staff has done thus far in every year. I mean, the guy has lost less than 5 games. He's continued to develop guys at a very high level. You look at the guys that leave his program in 1 year, they have so much success with 2 or 3, 4 NFL rookies of the year on both sides of the ball under Ryan and his day. And then another thing I want people to think about when you talk about Coach Dane, his short tenure as being a head coach here at Ohio State. Last year was really his first year of his recruits, where he didn't have any more guys in that program was affected by COVID guys or Urban's last batch of recruits. So now we finally starting to see his guys, and he really implement his put on the program and solidify his Ohio State future and legacy. And then another thing, too, people thinking national championship or bust. Ryan, I think, is 44, 45 years old. Nick Saban won his first national championship at 49. Kirby just won his first one. I think Kirby's in the late 40s or early 50s as well. So my thing is this thing takes time. And I know we in an environment of result-driven environment, we want it now, but this thing takes time. Yeah, as a fan, do you want to see Ohio State win a championship every year? Of course we do. But to say it's a bust season or to say it's an underachieved season, if they don't, I think that's a little bit of a stretch.
I agree. It's kind of interesting that, and we'll get into this, that Ohio State's standard to win, like you said, to win the Big Ten and win the national championship, that's every year.
That's always
the idea that this is some new thing that the national media has gotten a hold of, like, oh my God, the pressure is so much bigger this year. Check the hair color of every guy who takes over to Ohio State. It goes gray quick, okay? And it has forever.
That's always been a standard. And you look at players that come out this past week of saying what the standard is and what their expectation for the season is. As a player, you go to places like Ohio State to beat your rivals and to win a championship. You don't go there and say, I cannot wait to, play the first game of the season versus Akron, right? You go there for bigger and better things to get developed and to go to the next level and have an opportunity to play there. And that's what they're doing at a very high level and competing with the best at that. And then you have that big $20 million number out there that Ohio State and NIL and all this other stuff. I'm pretty sure we're going to get to it. But that's just the standard. That's us catching up finally to the Georgias, to the Alabamas, to the Texases, that's their standard. So I think it's so much miscommunication on the operations of college football, in particular Ohio State. We're just getting caught up in some of the other areas as far as NIL of that magnitude that the other schools and universities have been doing probably before NIL.
I also think part of this is who Ohio State got in the transfer portal was so well known that they got 3 or 4 of the real name recognition guys in the portal. So that created this image that they've taken more transfers than anyone. I've seen, there's a certain coach in the SEC, maybe at Ole Miss, might be named Lane Kiffin, who takes shots.
Yeah.
Mississippi took more transfers than Ohio State. Michigan took more transfers than Ohio State. We just got the ones everyone wanted. And I want to talk about that. The foundation has played such a huge role. You and Brian Schottenstein have done yeoman's work to get us up to speed to that point. But don't you think it's the fact that the foundation got brought in, the Judkins of the world, the Quinshon Judkins of the world, the Julian Sands of the world, getting Jeremiah Smith, getting Will Howard, having all the guys come back? I get the sense that the national media thinks there's increased pressure, but if the pressure is the same, to me, this is just making it a more reasonable task. Talk about what the foundation has done and kind of amped the overall approach here, that we really have a much better shot at winning the title.
I think, we try to stay in our lane when it comes to adding value to the program, when it comes to NIL. I mean, these guys are still coming to places like Ohio State to be coached by Coach Day and his staff and to be developed at the next level. I would have to argue that I'm not in these recruiting meetings with these coaches and going into these homes and sitting in these living rooms, but I can guarantee you C.J. Stroud, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Marvin Harrison, Terry McLaurin, I guarantee you those names are coming up as they recruiting a player to come to Ohio State. And then the icing on the cake, you're going to get some NIL opportunities when you get there as well. But we're talking about generational wealth that I can help you get to. So that's another thing about just a recruiting asset. I don't think NIL is the deciding factor for a lot of these guys, but it is a big factor. And I'm happy that we are playing a role in that. But you got to get credit where credit is due. Getting these players here, helping these players get here through NIL is one thing, but guess what? We're not coaching them. We're not developing them. We're not dealing with their issues 24/7 on and off the field. We're not making sure they're in class. So all of that pressure, all of that demand is on those guys over there at the Woody and at the Sasso and at the Fawcett. So we're still selling an overall program and organization to these players. I'm just happy a part of myself, Brian, and the foundation, everybody on the board can have a role in that and play somewhat of a deciding factor in that. But the work is done at the Woody. No doubt.
And times have changed, people. The NIL is, or some form of it, is here to stay. And you can't bring our standards with us and not expect the rest of it to come along with us. That's just not a realistic approach to this thing. This is how it's going to be in some form. And let's be fair, the players have earned this money. The fact that no one's missing a meal for them getting this money. The money was always there. It's just a redistribution of the funds so that the players get some and they deserve it. But like you said, and I think this is true, and you can disagree with me, every guy that comes to Ohio State is coming there to get to the NFL, wouldn't you think?
I would imagine. You go to places like that, so you play at a high level. You're going to practice against the best guys in the country each and every day, and hopefully continue to get better. And then what's next after that? So I don't think guys are going to Ohio State just to say, I can't wait to have a fun career at Ohio State.
Clearly, get paid, right?
Yeah, another aspect is that clearly the education and the network system of Buckeye Nation, because that can also help you transition to life after football, whenever that may be. But we talking about number one goals for these top recruits or these recruits peers or these walk-ons that go to places like Ohio State is to have an opportunity to play at the next level.
I mean, look, you're borderline the blueprint. You went there, bided your time, seriously, took advantage of an incredible opportunity, won the national championship, got a chance to play in the league, was even in D.C. with the Destroyers, because I'm a D.C. guy. I got to drop that one in
Defenders.
Defenders, my bad. I have a T-shirt upstairs, trust me. And then and now you've parlay that into being a key part of the foundation and just the alumni network. Believe me, when people see Cardale on this, Buckeye fans are always happy to see Cardale. You may have the one lifetime membership pass to happiness, given the fact that you were the quarterback of the championship team. Talk about this year's team, though, football-wise. What are your expectations? Now you can say it out loud specifically. What needs to go right for them to actually achieve these goals we discussed so highly?
Oh, my expectation is just like it's always been for the Buckeyes. Clearly, as a fan, as a supporter, you want to be the team up north. You want to take it home. That's what you want as a fan. But when you look at this roster, you look at this group of guys, you look at the talent they was able to retain and to add to it. I think realistic expectations is early on in the season for me. So I have two parts of expectation. Early on in the season for me, I want to see guys gel. I want to see if we can bring it all together. You got a new quarterback in there. We got some new offensive line guys playing some different positions. I want to see that depth. So I want to see us establish an identity early on in the season. And then I think when you talk about real long-term expectations as a team and as a player that been in those shoes before, it's hard to give you those week one, right? So I think about after the Oregon game, okay, now we see this team. This was probably their first real test, going on the road out to Oregon, playing a really good team, battling some adversity. Now I see how they probably going to get punched in the face. They're going to punch them in the face. I want to see how guys respond to that type of environment. And then you can set realistic expectations. It's so hard to set them in week one or this preseason because you got to deal with injuries potentially. You got to deal with so much stuff that's out of your control. Let's get halfway through the season before we start talking about, oh, yeah, this is going to be the favorite to win this, and I expect this. But my expectations as week one going to Akron, I want to see guys get some gel. I want to see guys go out there. They've been practicing against each other for the last pretty much 9 months. See some guys hit somebody else. I want to see some young guys step up on the offensive line. I want to see back to that Silver Bullets defense that they had last year that they somehow, some way improved this year.
Well, it helps that the foundation helped get us a certain player from possibly Alabama that will help the defense. Good gracious. I've heard some stuff about Caleb Downs. I haven't heard about anybody. But I think you're on point there. Look, and I'll go back to what we said. The idea that people expect Ohio State to do well and win the net, that's every year. Yeah. I don't really understand like some of the, I'm pitching for Bucknuts here and the kind of the grassroots coverage of the team, but the national people, I just don't think have a great handle on the vibe here all the time. There's never a year where it's like, oh, you lost to Akron and Purdue, no big deal. That's not how it works here.
Yeah.
Listen, if they go 3 and out against Akron on any possession, people are going to freak out. That's part of the deal. That's just how it works. The kids who come here, by the way, they know that. Cardale Jones knew that when he came here. It's not like some fake pressure that people are surprised when they walk out there and see 108,000 people. They know what they're getting themselves into. Yeah. All right, Cardale, this is what I need you to do. Let everybody know about your other gig. Cardale, we are not just Foundation Brethren. We are not just Buckeye Brethren. We are brethren under the Paramount Network.
Yeah.
CBS HQ. You guys haven't seen Dave Biddle on there a lot lately. Cardale is one of their top analysts. Got a big season ahead. So let them know what you'll be doing for CBS HQ and where people can check that out.
Oh, exactly, man. CBS Sports is streaming on all the CBS networks. We're doing a new college football show starting every Saturday, 9 a.m. And I'm extremely excited for it, especially with CBS' new partnership with the Big Ten. So going to be talking about the Buckeyes all season long, thank God, because that would make it a lot easier. And, I can't miss a beat there. And then also having Inside College Football, where we go to the pregame, post, halftime show, all the games that we call. So from the studios up in New York, and that's the best part about it, having the opportunity to travel a little bit and see all the behind-the-scenes stuff. So I'm excited for it.
So you're getting to spend your weekends in Manhattan?
Yeah.
Worse things have happened.
Exactly.
Some people have taken their Ohio State career and done a heck of a lot with it. We are very thankful for Cardale's efforts with the foundation. We're very thankful he could join us here today, and we will be on it. You will see Cardale plenty here with our CBS HQ affiliation. Cardale, have a great day, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
That was the one and only Cardale Jones. We'll be back here in just a sec with the Dean and the Grand Poobah himself. But first, you know what time it is. Joy mode time. Pat Murphy time. I think I speak for most men when I say we want to have better sex, and for the sake of our partner, we may need to have better sex. Oh, good Lord. Did I not send that out? Okay. The issue is that over-the-counter pills contain unregulated chemicals, suggest unsafe doses, and include the risk of other health problems. Alrighty. That's why we've partnered with our friends over at Joy Mode. Whether you're looking to spice up your intimate moments or increase your confidence in the bedroom, Joy Mode is what you want. Hold on one sec here. Copy. Boom. Paste. Boom. Sorry about that. That's on me. Their trademark product, the Sexual Performance Booster, is every man's solution for increased blood flow, stamina, and performance. It's like a pre-workout, but for sex. As I continue to send texts here. It comes in a palm-sized packet like your favorite electrolyte powder. Simply mix with 6 to 8 ounces of water 45 minutes before getting it on and watch the magic unfold, literally. Go to tryjoymode.com/Bucknuts and get 20% off with code Bucknuts at checkout. That's 20% off and free shipping with code Bucknuts at tryjoymode.com/Bucknuts. Great sex solved naturally. Okay, I am waiting for Mark and Bill to join. They should be here any second. But I want to answer some questions here, and we will do that. Look at that. The foundation checked in. Cardale's been an amazing leader for us, and we are excited for this season. This has been a record year of fundraising. We have over 20 student athletes on contract on football this year and appreciate all the support from Buckeye Nation. Yeah, it's been impressive. I hope everyone is appreciative of all the effort that's been going into this and the like. Let's see here. Maybe I need to email that to these guys. Hold on one quick second. Oh, William loves his email. Hold on here. I am emailing this out. All right. Bill Kurelic. I apologize for this. All right. That's on me. Chris, let's do this here. Yeah, Cardale, CBS SportsHQ's got a bunch of good people on there. What he was talking about is they're doing a whole pregame show, 9 a.m., and then they'll do a postgame show. Very interesting. You got a pre and postgame show in many spots now, so you can choose. But I want to remind you of this too while we're waiting for the guys. What we learned live. Our postgame show with Dave Biddle will start as the final whistle goes off against Akron. So if you want to chat about the game, everything that went down right away, we are the spot to be in, and that is where you will go, Dave. We've been doing that for several years now. It started out as just a text thing, but now we do it across the board, and it starts right afterwards. So whether you're in the parking lot, wherever you are, look at the Deans here, wherever you are, it's a done deal, and you can get on there as quick as possible. Bill, that's my fault. I only sent it to text, not email today. We got a little bit of a late start, but look who's here. The Dean, the Grand Poobah, both join us. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here. I apologize for the screwed up communication. I was so focused on 12 gauge, I forgot about my guys, but I apologize. Gentlemen, just had a great conversation with Cardale Jones about the season ahead and the foundation's efforts and all that good stuff. But let's focus on where you guys are at, Bill. You have a great article up here on recruiting, the latest. Don't give away everything, but give people a little bit of a taste of what you've got going on the site today.
Well, the latest version of latest edition, I should say, 5 or 6.
Bill, why don't you? We're gonna need Bill. Yeah, we're gonna lose Bill there for a sec. Bill, we need you to go to your email hookup, not your phone hookup. That one's not coming through. I sent it to the email, so you should be good. Mark, we will slip to yourself. Where are you headed this weekend? First of all, let's get an update on your son. I know I've gotten a couple questions about that. How is he doing? What was the final verdict? For those who did not know this, Mark's son spent as much effort getting ready for this season, and I can echo this, as I have seen any youngster get ready for a season. He was super into it. Quarterback, 9th grade, 5 plays in, He takes a shot on the knee. So emotionally, I felt for him. When you sent me that text, I told you that broke my heart. Let's get an update on how he's feeling and stuff like that.
Yeah, the poor kid has to hang out with me. So when
Oh,
dad goes to work and says, hey, we're going to a football camp, and he hops in the car, he does get a lot of extra work in. And that's really no different than any other kid. I hate that we were like, oh, your kid works so hard, but they all do. They all put their time in. Even if you just did the bare minimum and showed up for every practice, that's a lot of work. The MRI is tomorrow. The x-ray showed the cracked femur, so we're dealing with that right now. Mom's a physical therapist, and she is pulling out the favors and the stops and the hyperbaric chambers and the knee sleeves that are pumping hot and cold water through there to help him heal faster. It's quite amazing to watch that side of it. But yeah, for all the kids, Ryan Montgomery that go out that first game and have, lightning strike, it is tragic. It's hard for parents. It's, so many nice people reach out because I think everybody on some level has been through this.
Sure.
A lot of times when we hang up, we're talking about our own little, hey, I got to get this fixed, or I got a bad leg, or I got a bad shoulder, or I can't golf today, and we got injuries, and we know what it's like. But of course, at the young age, it's a little more pronounced.
Yeah, when your kids put that much into something and they get hurt. I've said this a million times. The one thing we don't report on enough in sports is injuries. I realize that's not sexy or interesting to the fan, but behind closed doors for every single sports team, injuries is a major, major deal. And then when you bring it down to the household, it's the same. All right.
I have to interject. My oldest daughter basically missed almost her entire senior year of college softball because of an injury. Actually, it was the same injury that Beanie Wells had in his toe foot, and she had the same surgery by the exact same surgeon, believe it or not, that Beanie Wells had for his injury. And unfortunately, she did have to miss most of her senior year of college softball in college.
Look at that. Hollywood Hager. My daughter was a D1 hooper. 3 ACL tears and an Achilles tear. We should have you on to discuss this. Good Lord. I'll say this. My son's taking an extra year in college because he missed his senior year with a knee injury, and he put that much work in, and we let him know you were going to get a chance to play. All good. So let's get back to the dean here. Now that we can all hear you clearly and see your wonderful haircut, Bill, tell us about the recruiting story you have up there now. Kind of what's the vibe going into the opener? It's kind of a transition time now moving. I think we're going to kind of fully shift our focus to 26 here soon. Lingering 25s, lingering vibes. What do you got?
Well, like I was started to say before, the latest edition of What I Am Hearing, and it is the pre-first game edition of What I Am Hearing on the recruiting front, 5 or 6 items, 2025, 2026. Philip Bell, of course, is announcing his decision on Saturday. Ohio State or USC. Have an item about that. A little bit about who's coming for the game, including Chris Henry Jr. Always good to have him back on campus anytime you can get him back on campus. And his teammate, Caden Dixon Wyatt, who is one of the top 2026 wide receivers in the country. His team, Santa Ana Mater Dei High School, they have a bye this weekend. They opened up with a big win last weekend, have a bye this weekend. So they are 2 of their top guys. Chris Henry, of course, going to Ohio State, is going to be at Ohio State this weekend. I even have an item in there about a 2028 quarterback the Buckeyes have offered. So somebody on the message board said, kind of hard to believe we're talking about 2028 kids. And it seems like yesterday where I was seeing people post, kind of hard to believe we're talking about 2025 kids. And here we are. Those 2025 kids are in their senior seasons.
Yeah, the craziest example is Milt Wagner's son, Dwan Wagner's son. So Milt Wagner was a Louisville player, is a grandpa. So that's how I know I'm too old. Mark, what do you got going for this weekend? Who are you headed to see? Bill, then we'll take that as well.
Yeah, it looks like because of the heat this weekend, some of the games are being pushed to 8 o'clock at night.
Yep.
Which there's going to be a stagger for me, which is like the greatest thing since Christmas. That means more football on Friday night for me. Looks like I get to go see Winton Woods at 7 and then Lakota West at 8. and Lakota East maybe to finish up that night. So I'll get, a lot of good teams in there, and they have some great matchups. Saturday is St. Ed's versus St. Joe's.
Let's go. St. Joe's of Philly.
Of Philadelphia. You got it. So we'll be checking out that game, and, that's a pretty full weekend right there. I mean, we're even going to see Justin Hill again. So if we are going to, mess with Justin Hill and try to flip him, we'll kind of check out where he's at.
So you're heading down to Cincinnati.
Yeah. So we're
Nice.
we're going to make some big road trips week 1 and week 2, Toledo and Cincinnati.
Big time. I mean, St. Joe's, St. Ed's, man, I don't want to go on a limb here. I'll bet you that's the best high school game of the weekend, maybe in the United States. It's up there for sure. William, how about yourself?
Well, I will be seeing a Cincinnati team, but not in Cincinnati. In fact, I'll be more towards your neck of the woods. I'll be in the Gym City area. I will be at the Cincinnati St. Xavier at Centerville game.
Ooh, wow.
Home of the former Fighting Kirk Herbstreets.
Sure. AJ Hawks.
And I will be there specifically to see Jacoby Clapper, or as he goes by, Kobe Clapper, linebacker from St. X, 6'2", 210. Ohio State offered him a scholarship, and heard a lot of great things about him. Have not seen him in a game in person yet. He's drawing rave reviews by some as a Luke Kuechly type guy. As good. Kuechly, of course, is from the same school, is perhaps as good as him. So I'll be anxious to see Kobe Clapper on Friday night.
Luke Kuechly is in the Hall of Fame of Ohio State misses. Let's just be honest about that. Go ahead, Mark. Looks like you wanted to say something there, brother.
I'm disappointed that he's not going to Glenville and Olentangy right out of his back porch.
Yeah, that's just going to show you, because he's the dean.
That's a home game. Glenville's coming to your backyard, and then you're leaving the neighborhood. Come on.
That's true.
I thought that was
maybe I'll change. Hey, there's a 24 hours plus. Maybe I'll change my plans now that you're goading me into this.
Oh man. The other thing, I don't know. I mean, seeing Jacoby Clapper is no, second fiddle to Glenville, but yeah, I figured that home game you'd take that one for sure. So as you said that, I lost all my bets in Vegas of where you're going. And then I just saw a TikTok. This is a digression about Centerville football, where I think it was the late 80s, maybe early 90s, where the alumni came back and played a tackle football game against the current team. And Kirk Herbstreit was running the triple option and got lit up by a high school linebacker. The high school linebacker was telling the story. He's like, I just came down the line and put one on him, just trying to save my own self. So when you say Centerville was the home of some tough football, not too many padded alumni versus current games. And boy, I wish there was more of that going on.
They don't do it anymore.
Yeah, I'd like to see the dean strapped up playing against his alma mater.
Oh no! Listen, I'd go into my 401k to watch that. But the linebacker who came down the line and did that, by the way, was a sophomore at the time named AJ Hawk.
Yep.
And Herbstreit, I think, has been publicly said the last hit he ever took, and he realized no good. Centerville is a powerhouse. They've had great players there throughout the years, so we will check that out. And that's an awesome matchup. And I give credit to Centerville; they do not back down. Chris Sauer says he was a freshman, even better. I know his brother Ryan also played there, so it's a star-studded affair. Centerville takes their football very, very seriously. The idea that Centerville is a public school, and they're playing a St. X out of Cincinnati, which is a powerhouse private operation. So got to give credit to Centerville for doing that. All right, guys.
One thing about the Cleveland St. Ignatius, me picking the Cincinnati St. X game, as great as this Glenville game is, I said St. Ignatius, I think, is good. Not picking the Glenville game, as great as the Glenville program is, they don't have anybody right now that Ohio State has offered a scholarship to. So that's kind of my thinking there, that of going to see St. X. I always try to go to a game that has at least one Ohio State scholarship offer. And now that could change. Sincere Johnson, who we've talked about, the linebacker at Glenville. From what I'm told, I didn't go to his game last weekend because I was at the Strongsville game against Avon Lake. But from what I'm told, Sincere Johnson had a great opening game. But as of right now, there isn't anybody playing for Glenville right this minute. I, again, say that has an Ohio State scholarship offer.
Just to piggyback on that, I hope you guys all saw our Buckeye in the Sky for Ohio week 1 up there with a focus on Carter Lowe. We will do every week a review of what we're going to try and do is if there's a guy in Ohio that really has a good chance to play at Ohio State, and it's not a huge number now, it kind of would be surprising to people. It's very difficult to get an offer from Ohio State. You got to be a stud, but we will be there. We will have video at some point in time in the season. If a guy is on Ohio State's radar, is offered, like Bill said, we will be there. We will have video of him. Maxwell Riley, Storm Miller, and Carter Lowe from the weekend. You've got a guy committed to Ohio State and Carter Lowe, who looked tremendous, by the way. And then Riley and Miller matched up against each other, and both have Ohio State offers. So that's the kind of content we expect to bring you weekly, and we'll be able to do it again this week based on where we're headed. Okay. Chris Madigan. I lit up Herbie in a scrimmage our senior year. Coach Greg from Centerville tore into the lineman that I beat to get to him. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised in a scrimmage. Sometimes in a scrimmage, they'll put that red or yellow jersey on the quarterback. And I'll tell you a funny story. I lived with a guy in college who played football at St. Ed's, and they had yellow jerseys on the quarterback, Elvis Gerbach in practice, and Desmond Howard in practice. And he drilled Desmond in practice one time, and he said the coach grabbed his face mask and was yelling, "You do not hit Desmond. You do not hit." So I think now the fact that he gets to watch Desmond on tape every week or on the TV every week and know he popped him is probably a good feeling. All right. We'll finish with this. Big season ahead. Big expectations for the Buckeyes. You guys are recruiting gurus, but you also know your Buckeyes. William Kurelic. You've seen a few Buckeye seasons. How do your expectations for this season match up to the way they've been in the past? And you want to take a shot at predicting how you think things are going to work out for your squad, for our squad?
Well, I'd first say I'm not sure that I can remember a more highly anticipated season for Ohio State. I've been covering Ohio State recruiting for 37 years, I believe now.
Only 37?
Only 37. That's why I got a haircut, to get rid of some of that gray hair that I tried to say is actually
if you have
blonde.
hair that good after covering recruiting for 37 years, you've got some good genes there, Kurelic.
Yeah. But I would say this is the most highly anticipated season that I can remember, to be honest. And I'm sure there's been others, but I think that's where I have this season right now and the anticipation level. And I think I really feel great about their chances against the team up north at the end of the season. I think the game that really will define the season, the regular season, will be Oregon, at Oregon. I'm not sure you could get much better of a matchup of Oregon being in the Big Ten for the first time ever, Ohio State going there, the number 2 and 3 teams in the country, and who knows? Maybe they'll be number 1 and 2 in the country at that point. So
very possible.
It all comes down, for me, mostly to that game. And of course, I'm picking the Buckeyes right now.
All right, I made a mistake, and he's right. Ted Kohansky, who I live with, Elvis Gerbach, and Desmond Howard. Yes, St. Joe's not saying that. That's my fault. That's your 50-plus brain not producing correctly there. And then, Bill, can you answer us one question that's been asked a trillion times here? I want to make sure we get this. How much are we pursuing Deuce Gerald?
Well, Deuce Gerald is a 6'2.5", 270-pound lineman, defensive lineman out of Sewanee, Collins Hill, Georgia. One of the best in the state of Georgia. In fact, he's the number 9 defensive lineman in the country. Ohio State is absolutely pursuing him. He has been to Ohio State. The mutual interest is absolutely strong. So, they definitely they've been recruiting Deuce Gerald for a long time.
All right, Marcus, your vibe on the season ahead and what's realistic? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, the saying is it's about to get real. What is there, $20 million put into this roster? So that's a $20 million bet. This is going to take them to the championship game. If this doesn't work, next year is at 25 or 30 million. What's the
Let's do
price
it.
tag on bringing home the championship season? Is kind of the backdrop here. This team, we had seniors stick around to stay for money. We brought in free agents for money. We paying starters big money. The pieces are here, and I think Coach Day is on the hot seat. Like, hey, someone puts all this money behind you. You've lost to Michigan 3 times. You better win this year. I think this is a really, like Bill said, maybe the biggest year, he's remembered in a while. There's a lot of storylines you could follow as this, season develops. But boy, is there some, I think it's the most pressure any team's been under because of the new NIL deals. I mean, there's money on the table for this team to be successful. So that's kind of where my vibe is, Akron's Akron. Bill's right about Oregon, but throughout the season, I think we're going to go back to, was this built the right way? Do you want to duplicate this year in and year out? Is this formula the one?
We shall see. It's a huge year. First time, this is the last time we'll be on the air here before the Akron game. Everyone knows where I stand on it. In fact, everyone who actually read our roundtable, I predicted Ohio State. I was the only one on the staff. I guess I'm jinxing. I predict them to go undefeated and win the national championship. And I said this multiple times. This is the first time since I've been up here in about 20 years, or at least since, the urban era where we won it, where I really felt like we have the best team. We have the most talented team. There's no SEC team waiting for us at the end of the rainbow with a lottery pick quarterback more than, I know Carson Beck's a good player, but there's no Trevor Lawrence or Joe Burrow waiting for us. And I really think they have the squad to do it. So why not say it? I think Ohio State's going to win the national championship, go undefeated, and that will make this show really enjoyable, because then that means great recruiting, great NIL, and great stuff otherwise. All right. Appreciate Mark stopping by. Appreciate the Dean stopping by. Appreciate Cardale Jones stopping by. For those of you that have made it this far, I've got to tell you about Mando. This stuff is awesome. Great smelling, whole body deodorant. Will be your best friend this summer. Clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours. You can put it anywhere, body, pits, package, feet, everywhere in between. Stops odor before it starts. It's American made. It's available in 4 Bucknuts cologne quality scents: bourbon leather, Mount Fuji Pro Sport, and Clover Woods. That is some good stuff. Mando starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, and free shipping. Luckily, I have a discount code to help you get started and get hooked on my favorite smelling whole body deodorant on the market. New customers get a $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to 40% off for your starter pack. Use code Bucknuts at shopmando.com. SHOPMANDO.com. Thank you, and see you later, Bucknutters. Have